Okay, I think this is working fine, so we're just gonna go ahead and talk. Okay, so I realized I didn't really film a good introduction for this video, so I want to preface this with, hi guys! It's been a really long time since I've done anything cosplay related, and I'm bringing you a wig styling video. So I'm just here to talk about the whole process, my whole mentality going through it, and all my decision making and how I got to the end process. I'm really happy with how it came out. I'm happy that other people are happy with how it came out. So here's to exploring that with you. So the base wig that I'm using is from the Assist cosplay store in Little Tokyo. I have a friend, thank you Alexa, thank you so much, who works there and was really kind enough, she was really kind enough to just help me get a hold of a wig. I paid for it, she didn't give it to me for free. I don't got those kinds of connections. It was, I wish I knew what color it was in. If it was on the tag, I didn't read it properly. But it was just this very, very sandy blonde, like very monotone blonde. It's not yellow at all. It just is very slightly creamy. It's kind of hard to describe. I am very sorry. But if you can find a wig matching that description, you'll do fine. So my whole goal with this wig was that I didn't want it to be too green or too yellow, and Leo has a really particular hair color that changes a lot through the movie depending on the lighting. But I also wanted something that would suit me, because I think if there's anything that I learned out of cosplaying, it's that, like, you know, you can make something that's accurate to the cosplay, but you also want something that's flattering for you. So I did actually buy an Arda wig. Man, I don't remember what color it was in, but it was like a greenish blonde. I'm just gonna plug it here, if I remember. And I got it in the mail, and it didn't end up being the color that I wanted, and it wasn't very flattering for my skin tone. So I ended up sticking with the Assist wig, which was much more flattering. And I think you can probably find a good blonde from Arda, but I'm worried that they might get too dark. I'm not entirely sure. I think maybe the titanium blonde would be okay. I think the cream might be a little too yellow. Mica might be good. Yeah, that's where we are in terms of suggesting wigs. If you're looking for a good base wig, something readily available is Arda for a lot of people. I know Assist isn't really, I think their website is Japanese only. So yeah, I hope that helps a little bit. I'm sorry if it doesn't. Okay, so I have to read off my phone because I wrote this up last night, but to get into the styling part of the wig making, so I tried a lot of different ways to style this wig. Synthetic wigs are kind of notorious for being difficult to curl. I've curled them before, but I always end up having to do it a different method, like depending on the curl. So basically what I did first was, so I tried to just heat it up and hold it in place, and that like definitely didn't work. The second thing I did was trying to hairspray it, straighten it, shape it, and then straighten it again. And that didn't really work either, but it was kind of starting to get somewhere, like, you know, I was learning, and it didn't really work because it was too long, because this ended up being kind of the method that I took up for the rest of the wig styling, but different, okay? Don't do anything yet. This part was kind of just dumb, so I recommend, like, don't judge me on attempting to do this way, okay? It wasn't good, it wasn't smart, don't make fun of me. I tried thinning a strand and then hairspraying it and then teasing it just a little bit more to give it more texture so that it would like take to heat and hairspraying better. It wasn't good. Yeah. And then after that, I kind of started getting on track. So I would trim the wig a little bit at the end to like the actual length that I wanted. And then I would hairspray it, and then I would straighten it. And then using my hands, I would go ahead and curl it just at the end, but also slightly towards the body of the weft, so it would curl a little bit more, and that ended up working. So I kind of just stuck with that for the rest of the process. So sometimes the straightener would leave these weird little like crimps in the weft, because when I was like sliding it down, it would get stuck for a second and then stuck for a second and then stuck for a second. So basically I would just have to run it through again and do it one more time to make sure that it was completely smooth. Sometimes just brushing it would be fine and it would get rid of the crimps, but for anyone who runs into that problem, there you go. You also don't necessarily need to be using your hands like I am to curl the end of the wefts. So it might be easier for you to just find something that's like slightly rounded and then like the size of the curl that you want it to be, so you don't go ahead and burn yourself. Because I will say that the straightener makes the wefts really hot, especially after you hairspray it. And so if you're not used to touching hot things or whatever the case, it might hurt you. So in terms of cutting the wig, I started just going ahead and blunt cutting each individual weft that I was curling, because it got to the point where, yes, most of it was being hidden under the curl. It was just looking a little bit more flattering, like a little bit straighter, I guess, which Leo doesn't necessarily have like super, you know, like sharp cut hair, but I just thought it was cool looking, so I went ahead and did that. That being said though, I do love when Leo's hair looks all windswept and it's moving around with the animation, so I wanted to go ahead and kind of show that off a little bit by giving him like slight layers. There's an ant crawling up my tripod. Little cuts in the wefts that were shorter in some places and then curling them, so you kind of got like this really cutesy effect. I just thought it was cute instead of having like, you know, like that coconut head like bowl cut from Recess. I also wanted his bangs to kind of blend into his handles, so I did that little like cut along the side, just trimming it a little bit shorter so it all kind of moved into each other. Basically, like from my experience, I think wigs that like cling to your face tend to be more flattering, at least for me. And then in addition, with all of the extra little stuff, I also just wanted to show that his bangs were really fluffy and cute too. So basically I started taking instead of curling it at the end, I would a little bit, like I was doing with the rest of the wig, but I was giving his bangs a bit of layers and then hairspraying towards the root and then taking the straightener as close as I could to the wig cap, and curling it from there, so it basically took on this little poof and gave it that really good, you know, bouncy bang that he has. I just love the way his hair moves, you know? It's cute. It's really cute. This is the finished wig. Now it needs to be dyed. It looks really good on my head. Fortunately, my head measurements tend to be pretty close to these wig heads. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and mess around with the dye and hopefully I don't ruin my good work, because this was the last color in stock. Yeah, alright. Stay tuned. Alright, so this is currently what it's looking like, and I think this is about the height of the gradient that I want it to be. I already washed this part out, and it's looking like I'm probably gonna have to recurl some parts, but for the most part, like, you know, some of the curls are keeping their shape because of the heat. I'm liking this color. It looks a lot lighter on camera than it is right now, but I know it's gonna get even lighter when it dries. Okay, so this is what the wig is looking like right out of the shower. One side is a little bit lighter than the other because I had already washed that out. But yes, gradient is there. I tried to get all underneath for sure, even the tips of the bangs, and we'll see how this goes. Alrighty, so for anyone interested, this is what the wig looks like under slightly different lighting. There's a window, you know, right here, so you can see the little layered curls every so often. So not all of the curls at the bottom go in the same direction because I kind of wanted to tweak that, I guess, a little bit. And you can just go in and, like, you know, adjust this anytime that you want because it already has that general coating of hairspray, so it tends to pretty much hold. If it doesn't, then you can go ahead and curl it, you know, with your fingers or whatever you have at your disposal, like I would before, and it looks fine. Here's just some close-up shots of the dye. The little curls going in different directions. It's very poofy, but not to an extreme. And there's no weird like wefts showing because it's, you know, styled strangely or whatever the case. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Alright. Thanks, guys. Overall, this was just kind of a fun process. I'm really debating getting back into regularly styling wigs because even though I don't really have the time to go, you know, all out with super big cosplays, at least not right now, it would be really nice to at least be able to do something casual every once in a while. I still have our Molly and Jester wigs, you know, sitting to the side that need to be styled, so maybe I'll do something with that. But this kind of stuff is really fun. I kind of miss it. Let me know if you enjoyed it because I did. And yeah, give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe maybe to see more stuff from us. Check out our store if you're looking for some Pro Mare or Pro Mare merch because it's coming soon. And yeah, thanks so much. Also, thank you to our patrons for making this possible. You guys are the best. If you're interested in supporting us via Patreon, here is our link, and here is everyone who's making this kind of stuff possible for us. You really help us with all our additional expenses and, you know, fostering our kitties and all that good stuff. So thank you. Hope you guys have a really good day or night or whenever you're watching this. Peace.
You like the Tarzan,
His
baby.
legs are so long.
You like the Tarzan, baby, huh?
His legs. Oh. You're handsome.